Trump just raised China tariff to a staggering 125%, and Amazon sellers are just freaking out right now. Should you panic? Should you raise your price? Should you pivot your business? Should you start selling something else? Should you start doing dropshipping? Well, here I am. I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do right now, and actually why doing nothing might be the smartest move right now. Hey, my name is Alan. I started Amazon FBA as a broke college kid. I struggled for 3 years before finally building a 7-figure Amazon store. Since then, I have helped over 250 beginners start and scale their own FBA businesses. And this video is your clear-headed, BS-free guide to the recent 125% tariff hike and what Amazon sellers should do in response. Let's get right into it. So here's a quick update. In February and March 2025, Trump raised the tariff by 10% each time. In April, a 34% hike brought the total up to 54%. And a few weeks later, another 50% raised it to 104%. And just in like a day or two, we saw another 21% hike, bringing the total tariff to an astronomical 125% on many Chinese imports. So today he decided to add a 125% tariff. The next day he decided to pause them for 90 days. For a lot of countries, some tariffs are paused, some tariffs are reinstated, and no one knows what's coming tomorrow. So by the time that you're actually watching this video, the tariff could be up to 300% or 500%, or actually it could be paused, or it could be like 30%. We don't know anything. But anyways, what should Amazon sellers do in this current time? The number one rule right now that I suggest to all my clients is that don't do anything rash. Don't immediately try to raise your prices. Don't just pull your listing. Don't panic sell or like cancel your shipments. And why? It's because situations like this is so fluid. It changes every single day. It's only been a week since the 125 number hit the news. These things evolve quickly. Overreacting now and do some drastic changes could just damage your brand, hurt your sales momentum, or lock you into very bad decisions that could ultimately cost a lot of money on your business. If you raise your price today and the tariff gets reversed tomorrow, you have confused your customers. You have lost your rankings because you're selling less, and you might have to fight and try to recover again. You might have to drop your price again to get back to where you originally were, right? So stay calm, be strategic, and watch and wait the whole situation. Now let's talk about the numbers. I want you to understand what is the real impact on this. So a 125% tariff doesn't mean your $20 product now needs to sell for $40, because tariff only applies to a manufacturing cost, not the final sales price. If your product costs $1 to make in China, and a 125% tariff would be around $1.25 extra. So that means your total cost will now become $2.25. So even if you're selling a $10 product, we are talking about a few extra dollars, not a 2 times price hike. You don't need to be selling a $10 product to $20 now. So by understanding the numbers, just don't believe the fear, don't believe anyone that's shouting on the headlines, be like, oh my God, Amazon is dead. Oh my God, everyone's panicking. The real impact is manageable if you play it smart. Now is actually the perfect moment to contact your supplier and be like, hey, tariffs are up 125%. Can we find a way that we can share the cost? Can we renegotiate the terms? Can we renegotiate the price? Can we renegotiate the payment terms? Because this is something that a lot of people doesn't know, that a lot of sellers can actually negotiate a payment term with their suppliers. Usually it's 30% upfront and then 70% when the product is finished. But you can be like, okay, now that we have this, tariff situations, can we do 30% upfront? 70% only when my products arrive at USA and when the tariffs are clear. Talk to your supplier. Nothing is impossible. Everything is negotiable with your suppliers. But of course, you need to have a strong foundation. You need to have a strong trust built with your supplier first. So most Chinese suppliers want long-term relationships. They understand how hard it is. So many are just open to, sharing some of the tariff burden, slightly reducing the product cost. I want you to use these situations to strengthen your supply chain and lower your costs with your supplier. And right now, I want you to watch your market closely. Now is the time to become an observer, not a reactor. You want to watch your competitors. Are they raising prices? Are their BSR or their bestseller ranking dropping? Are their BSR ranking increasing? So if your competitor raises your price and you don't, your offer actually becomes more attractive. And you may gain some organic ranking and some more sales at the meantime too. This is actually a huge opportunity for those who has been stuck with slow moving inventory, because holding steady, just not doing anything and let others blink first can help you get more sales and more keyword ranking. It can actually help you unstuck in this particular situation as well. Now the question is, will tariff last? The truth is nobody knows, but here's my bet. Here's what I think is that they won't last long, because China is still the largest manufacturer manufacturing partner for the US. Think about Apple. If the iPhone suddenly cost $5,000 due to the tariff, it would collapse the entire supply chain. It would collapse the entire one of the biggest company in the US. There's simply too much at stake for this to be a long-term situation. These tariffs are likely a bargaining chip, not a definite long-term goal. Now, one day they will negotiate back. And actually, I've said this before, and now it's even more true because I'm a firm believer that selling cheap product is dead on Amazon. It doesn't work in 2025 anymore. When your margins are already thin, an extra $1 to $2 in tariff can actually destroy your whole business. That is why I only focus on mid to high ticket products right now, because I will have much more room for margins. It'll be easier for me to absorb any sort of market shifts, any sort of sudden cost increase like tariff. Also, I actually will have better customer value because I am building a premium brand. So high ticket FBA sellers are actually in a much stronger position right now compared to the sellers who are selling cheap products. Also, let's be clear, e-commerce, it's not slowing down because whether it's Amazon or another platform, people will still shop online. Doesn't matter how the tariffs are going to be like. So selling on Amazon FBA is still locked in for the next at least 5 to 10 years or more. That means Amazon will still remain a powerful channel. And if some sellers quit because of tariffs, that's actually good news for those of us who stayed focused and who have a winning mindset to absorb any sort of burden or any sort of trouble ahead of us, because mindset is just everything in this business world. Here's the truth. If you panic every time something gets tough, Amazon FBA just isn't for you, because winners adjust, losers quit. Because this tariff hike will weed out the weak players. It will weed out the ones who always look for an excuse to quit. That creates more room and less competition for people like us who are in this for the long haul. A lot of you might be thinking, okay, let's just source from the US. Well, I have tried that. It doesn't work because manufacturing in the US is basically like 8 times more expensive than in China. I need to see the tariff to be at least 800% before it even becomes logical for me to source in the US. And the reason why Chinese manufacturing is so efficient, it is because the economics of scale. This is actually a economic terminology. I'm not trying to sound fancy here because China still has the world's most advanced supply chain. Their massive infrastructures, their logistics, their toolings, and all of the sourcing networks, the shippings, everything. It would take them at least 5 to 10 years to even attempt to rebuild something similar. And who knows after 4 years if another president would just step in and then cancel all of the tariffs. We don't know anything like that. So stop dreaming for a quick fix and focus on playing the long game strategically. To recap, you want to stay focused, you want to stay calm, do not react too fast, do not raise your price immediately. This is a great time to negotiate with your supplier. You want to observe your competitions, you want to observe your market, understanding that e-commerce isn't going away, and you want to start focusing on mid to high ticket products if you haven't already. And you want to realize that most sellers will panic and quit, and that means more customers, more rank, and more room for you to grow. And if you want to learn more about why selling cheap products are actually dead in 2025, go watch that video and I'll see you there. Bye bye.